Hello everyone and welcome to Cooking with Mary. Quick disclaimer, this is actually a travel channel, so if YouTube randomly suggested you this video and you have no idea who I am, I'm Mary Jane. Hi! I come from Italy and right now I'm stuck in New York City in lockdown. I came here in the middle of the winter. This is why I'm wearing sportswear, because I have no other clothes for this kind of weather. Sorry about that. And I had this channel since... oh, you know what? It's mid-April. This is exactly 2 years that I opened this channel. Wow! Happy birthday to me! And I actually started it exactly here in New York City. Well, anyways, this is a travel channel, but for obvious reasons, my content has changed. Although cooking as a good Italian is one of my biggest passions of all in my entire life, this is, in 2 years of life of my channel, the very first cooking video that I make. And I must say, the setup has been quite difficult because my boyfriend moved to this apartment right before New York shut down, so everything is still very messy around and we don't have a stove. That's why I have a little electric cooktop today. So you guys have been asking me Italian recipes, and today we're gonna cook one of the most springy Italian recipes of all. I just realized I don't really know how to call this dish in English. It's called carciofi in umido in Italian. It's simply artichokes right here. Artichokes. Okay, let's begin with the basics. You are going to need like a cutting board or somewhere to work. I do suggest always to put a small cloth underneath your cutting board so it doesn't slip away. Even better if it's moist. A small knife like this, a bigger knife, a pot like this one with the lid, and then a big pot or bowl of water that we are gonna need to preserve the artichokes from getting black. First thing, we are gonna prepare the water with the lemon. You're gonna squeeze half of the lemon in the water, and the other side we are gonna keep it for later. Let's start cleaning the artichokes now. Of course, you know the artichoke is a flower, or even better, a flower that has not opened yet. It grows on top of a plant, so it needs a special treatment. It's not a vegetable. So first of all, we're gonna rip away some of the outer leaves because they are quite woody. Do you say woody in English? They have a lot of fiber, like too hard fibers. That the word artichoke actually comes from the northern Italian artichoke. I read it earlier on the internet. I was doing some research. We actually call it in another way in modern Italian. We say carciofo, but apparently carciofo is a name that came from the Arabic hashufa or something like that, that was then brought to Spain. And then through Spain came to the southern of Italy, where it took the current name, carciofo. Artichoke in English, like the French artichoke, I think, I don't know how it's pronounced, it's the same word in French and also in German, comes from the northern Italian, which was curious. So how many leaves do you want to toss from the artichoke? Well, it's hard to say. That's always the problem. Some people hate having to spit out the fibers when they eat the artichoke, so they take away a lot of external leaves. Other people don't mind, so they keep more stuff. I am in this second group of people. I've always found eating an artichoke kind of a game, like a ritual or something like that. Like you have to take your time to eat an artichoke, you know, because you have to chew the leaves very well and then spit out the fibers that are not eatable, and then you slowly arrive to the center that is all soft and creamy and buttery and full of flavor. I'm so hungry. So I'm gonna leave all these leaves that are clearly still too hard to be eaten, but I'm gonna be able to chew them and get the juice and some of the pulp before spitting out the fibers when I eat them. But if you don't like that, please go away and take out at least 2 or 3 layers of leaves, I would say. Next step is gonna be to clean the stem. The stem is actually the tastiest part of the artichoke in my opinion. So a note on these artichokes. Guys, I'm not in Italy, so it's hard to cook Italian with foreigner ingredients, especially when I'm here in the US, because all the fruits and vegetables are so old, so unripe and old. You really can tell that they have been staying in the fridges for weeks before coming to your kitchen. And this is also the case with this artichoke, not for weeks, but you can tell that it's very old. You can tell because it should be way more crunchy and full of water, you know, but it lost some of the moist, so it's not that crunchy anymore, and it makes it harder to clean, honestly. So as you can see, can you see? Can you see all these fibers? That is all stuff that is not eatable. So when you're gonna eat the artichoke, you're gonna have to, you can chew it and there's still juice, but you're gonna have to spit it. So we're gonna have to take away all these woodeny parts. I keep saying woodeny, I don't know if it's a word in English. So unfortunately, this stem is very short and also it's very old. So I don't even know if anything is gonna remain here. But usually in Italy, when you go to the market and the artichokes are really fresh, like they're picked up from the field the same morning basically, or the day before maximum. Sometimes you have a very long stem like this. You still have to cut the other part, but it's longer, it's fresher, you know. At this point, some people prefer to, you know, take away all this part. I'm gonna take away a little bit because just because it is not fresh, you can't really tell that it's not fresh. But normally I would keep it. Jesus, it's so hard. Having a knife like this is actually pretty essential in cleaning the artichokes. I don't know how this is called in English. In Italian it has a very funny name. It's called spelucchino. Okay, at this point, please start to rub some lemon over these cut parts because the artichoke tend to oxidize very quickly, so it becomes black. It's not very aesthetically pleasing. So with the half lemon, do that. And now we're gonna cut this part because on the top the petals are very, or leaves, I don't know how to call them, are very hard. Let me show you where to cut. This is also a hard question. I usually just start from a certain point and then if it's still hard, I cut a little bit more. Okay, this is obviously still too hard, so I'm gonna cut more. Okay, see, the problem in cooking in a country that is different than yours is that you don't know the species of vegetables that they have, and this is a very weird artichoke for me. I've never seen anything like this before. So I had to cut so much of the tip, but anyway, we're gonna keep going. So on an artichoke that I would find in Italy, I would open this part in the middle and put some dressing, some salt and pepper. I cannot do this in this case because it's literally, it cannot open. Now I'm gonna keep it in the water while I prepare the other. By the way, I rinse everything before using it, you know, from the grocery store because it's normally a good rule, and in this time it's even better, even if I'm gonna toss all the external parts in the end. So where does this recipe come from? This recipe actually is a little bit of a mix because my mom, I'm from the north of Italy, always makes artichokes in her own way. So I learned how to make them that way. But then in my 20s I went to live in Rome, and in Rome the artichokes are a very typical dish, typical ingredient. They do the artichokes with this technique, but in a very particular way. They're called carciofi alla romana. So I kind of a little bit changed my mom's technique and adjusted with elements of that other technique. So this is a little bit of a mix. You can do whatever you want, really. In the kitchen, to me, the most important thing is that you can experiment. You can really be creative and do your own thing, you know. Just make up recipes, make up dishes, why not? Honestly, this artichoke is much better than the first one that I cleaned for some reason. So you can see how beautiful it looks. Artichoke is really like it screams spring, you know. I love seasons, I love them so much. And artichoke is that kind of vegetables that is only in the spring. So now I'm gonna show you what I meant earlier. Now you can see that we have a little bit more space to work on. So you take the middle and you open it. There are a little bit of spines. No, how do you call them? Like you're gonna kind of hurt yourself. But that's it. That's how the artichoke works. So there you go. A little bit opening up. And some people like to take out the core of the artichoke, which would be the future flower, if it makes sense. At this stage, it's not eatable, it's horrible actually. If you by mistake you put it in your mouth, it's really horrible. Some people take it away in this stage, but I am of the other school. I prefer to take it away directly on my plate because I can cut, you know, the whole artichoke in half and do it with my fork or with my knife in one movement. If I had to do it here, it's such a mess. It's very complicated unless you have a special tool for it. So we're gonna leave it here. Just for who doesn't know artichokes, I hope you can see right there in the middle, there is, we call it beard in Italian. I don't know if you can understand. It's kind of like a beard, real one. That's why I say it's horrible if you eat it by mistake. This is already becoming a little bit darker, so I use a little bit of lemon. One thing, if you have a lot of them to prepare, in the water and lemon, they will tend to come to the surface, of course, and then the part that is out of the water will get black. To prevent that, you just take a piece of kitchen paper and kitchen towel, and you just put it on the surface so it will soak all the lemony water and it will stay in contact with the part of the artichoke that is on the surface, you know what I mean. Okay, let's see if the stem is also easier to clean in this one. Yes, it is. I don't know what the matter was with the other one. Okay guys, honestly this is a way more normal artichoke than the one that I cleaned earlier, the first one. I don't know what was the matter with that one, honestly. Okay, and that is the final, oh no, still need to cut. This is the cleaned result. I'm gonna grab lemon. You can see that it's already becoming a little bit darker. That's why we use lemon. I think it's all about aesthetics though. I mean, if you don't have lemon at home, just don't use it. If it's just for you, you don't have to give it to anyone else, you know. So my pot is this one. Is the only pot that I have in this house. So this is the size I'm gonna work with. I think 2 for this is gonna be all I can put inside here. What kind of pot do you need? First of all, a good one that has a thick bottom, because otherwise they're gonna burn before they actually cook. Then you need one that is high enough. This is barely high enough, honestly, and it has a lid. Okay, next thing, some olive oil in the pan. Let's prepare it, and I'm gonna also switch off the heat here. This takes a while to warm up. Okay, about the oil. Let's talk about the oil for 1 second. Italian cuisine usually uses very few ingredients. It's very minimalistic, so it's very important that each ingredient is high quality. Otherwise, things are gonna suck. Olive oil is very important. You cannot get just a random one. I obviously cannot afford a fancy olive oil. This is quite decent though, I must say, even if it's cheap. I would say the most important thing you have to keep in mind is that it doesn't have to be just olive oil. It's very, very important that it is extra virgin olive oil. What's the difference? Well, the difference is, at least in Italy, I hope that the law is the same here. Simple olive oil means that it's an oil, a mix of vegetable oils with a higher or lower percentage of actual olive oil, whereas extra virgin olive oil, it means that it's mostly olive oil, and then maybe sometimes they put some other oils. I don't know how this is, but extra virgin olive oil assures you that there is a very high, very, very high, like 98% of olive oil inside. Now, next step is gonna be prepare the condiments for our artichokes. Here we have some normal salt, then we're gonna use garlic and some parsley. Speaking of garlic, you have two possibilities. You can chop it very thinly and put it inside the artichokes, or you can leave it whole and just put it in the pot with them, so it's gonna release its flavor, but at the end you can just toss it and not be forced to eat it somehow. In this case, since one of the two artichokes doesn't have a hole in the middle, I'm gonna just keep it whole and throw it in the pot. I'm just gonna peel it. I hate peeling the garlic. Who can relate with it? I'm not a big garlic girl anyways. I'm an onion girl. I love onions. Not raw, just cooked. But I think they are such an amazing vegetable. Okay, I can throw it inside already. As for the parsley, I usually have it frozen because, you know, you get a bunch of parsley and it's not gonna last forever, you know. So I usually prepare it by chopping it very thinly, and then I put it in containers and leave it in the freezer so I can use it whenever I want. So next step is gonna be to salt the inside of the artichokes, if you have the luck to have an inside of the artichokes. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the salt in the inside, a little bit of parsley in the inside as well. Okay. Some people put anchovies inside. It's your choice. Some people put actually mentuccia, so the Roman version of this that I was telling you about is made with mentuccia, which is not normal mint. It's like a less strong kind of mint. It's not easy to find outside of Rome, honestly. And well, this one I'm just gonna put it like this. Maybe I'm just gonna add some salt on this side. So if you want to do the Roman version, one of the things you have to modify from this recipe is the herb that you use, because they don't use parsley, they use mentuccia. Now, as you can see, the stems come out of my pot because it's not big enough. So I'm just gonna cut them a little bit and just throw them inside. They're gonna cook on their own. Okay, now we're gonna obviously salt the outside as well. Worst thing is to try to put the salt with your humid hands, like moist hands. It just doesn't work, people. It doesn't work. Okay, another thing I'm gonna do, which is totally optional, it's kind of on a budget tip, honestly. I'm gonna add some potato inside because The artichokes are very flavorful and they are very pricey as well. So what you can do is you can add some potato in big chunks. It's gonna cook together and it's gonna soak up all the flavor from the artichoke. It's gonna be delicious, I promise. Honestly, it's not on a budget trick. My mom was not on a budget and she taught me to do this, to put some potatoes inside. Sometimes she doesn't do it and I always get angry because in the end the potatoes end up being as good as the artichoke itself, if not better. So I'm gonna peel them for this in this case because I don't think it's good to have them with the skin. See how important this kind of nice knife is for this recipe? C'era una volta una gatta che aveva una macchia vera sul muso una vecchia. Soffitto vicino al mare con una finestra a un passo dal cielo blu. I'm gonna cut them in big chunks with my bigger knife, probably, you know, like big chunks like this. Oh, in the meanwhile, the artichokes, I put them in the pot, but then I put the heat very low. So you don't fry them. This is what I mean. We're not gonna fry them. They're gonna be in Italian this is called in humid. Like, I don't know how this kind of technique is called in English. I am sorry. This big chunks. Now I'm simply gonna take the chunks here and I'm gonna put them inside. What you should do possibly is you're gonna try to make like a puzzle, like to block the pieces of artichokes with the potatoes so there is not too much space, because now we're gonna fill it up with water and we want the artichokes to stay quite fixed to their place and not move too much. Now we're gonna add salt to the potatoes as well. We're gonna add parsley to everything. It all sticks to my hands. Look at this. Damn, so difficult. Guys, you have no idea how long it took me to prepare this setup that you can see right now. I actually vlogged the entire process of setting up this thing because, as you can understand, the kitchen is there. This is the living room and I'm gonna put the video up on my Patreon page. So if you're interested in that, you want to see the behind the scenes of this video, which is I think it's gonna be a very funny video, honestly. You can go check out my Patreon page. You can access to any kind of pledge starting from $1 per month. Now I'm gonna turn on the heat to medium, I would say. Now I warmed up some water and we are gonna cover the artichokes with some warm water. Now my suggestion is don't be scared with the amount of water, because yes, it is gonna stay there. It's not gonna evaporate completely or be absorbed by the artichoke, but it is very nice to have it in the end, to have this little reduced broth full of flavor at the end, because you're gonna eat this with bread, which is, you know, like the main component of the Mediterranean diet. So we eat in Italy bread all the time. It's really like in the United States it's demonized. Bread is like, oh no, it's carbs, it's so bad for you. No, it's bread. It's like, it's the base of your diet. Just don't overdo it and get the right one, not the one that you buy at the grocery store that's been in plastic for months. And try to get the full grain one, you know, not completely white and stuff like that. But bread is very important for our diet. So the level should be this one. It should fill up the pot but not go over, you know, this base of the artichoke has to remain out of the water. Doesn't have to be submerged. Now what we are going to do here, I'm gonna put the parsley back to the freezer in the meantime. So if you have parchment paper, you can do it with parchment paper, no problem. I don't have it, so I took a piece of bag of the bread, you know, the bag of the bread. The real bread comes in these kind of bags, you know? not in plastic ones. You wanna just moist it a little bit. Gonna do it with the lemony water since I have it here. And we're gonna use it to cover up our artichokes. And now we will take the lid and cover it. The heat should stay on medium. And now this is gonna go for, I don't know how long, between 20 minutes and 1 hour, 1 and a half, I would say. It depends on the kind of artichoke, the state of the artichoke, how much you peeled off from the artichoke, how you like it, and so on. So I would say in 20 minutes I will come here and try to stick something inside of the artichoke to test how it is. Hello guys, welcome back. So in the meantime, I discovered something horrible, which is that my microphone the whole time wasn't on. I mean, it was on, it wasn't recording for some reason, which I don't know what it is. So I don't think I'm gonna publish this video because the whole first part of the video has no decent audio. So yeah, I'm gonna finish filming it and then I'm gonna decide what to do with all this footage. I shot for exactly 1 hour before realizing that the microphone wasn't recording. So let's go see how the artichokes and potatoes are doing. By the way, now it's been more or less half an hour since they started cooking. So let's see, I'm gonna go with the fork. So the potatoes are still a bit hard. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. Okay guys, this clearly needs a little bit more. I would say maybe I will check back in 15 minutes. So I'm gonna cover it again. I'll see you in 15 minutes. Hi again, this is 15 minutes later. Let's see what we have. This is so difficult, guys, to film and do something at the same time. Also, this camera doesn't have any optical stabilization, so I'm sorry if it's shaky. Okay, the potatoes, as you can see, are much nicer now. Let's see this. Oh, it goes in like butter, guys, like butter. Okay, I think it's time for us to take them out. Switch up the heat, maybe. Nice. Okay, guys. I can't even tell you how it smells. Oh God. This we eat usually either as a side dish, but more commonly like after the pasta, for example. If you had pasta as a first dish, then you have this, which is, it counts like a vegetable, right? Or you can have it as antipasto, which is what comes before the actual meal, or as a full meal actually. Like if you put some potatoes and then you add some bread. In Rome they make sandwiches out of this, so they take literally 2 pieces of bread. Now they cut it in half, they put it in the sandwich, sprinkle in some raw olive oil, and that's it. That's their sandwich. They eat it like a snack in the afternoon or mid-morning, stuff like that. I'm gonna show you how is the inside. I hope the second camera is focusing here. Okay, so I'll show you the inside. Let's cut it in half. Look at this. I'm using a butter knife and this is exactly like butter. Look at this. Oh. You know why I love the artichokes so much? Because they have different parts, you know? You have like the stem, you have the petals or leaves, whatever they are. And then you have this part, which is the most, you can even buy only this part because it's the best one, basically. It's very expensive to buy only that one, as you can imagine. And this is the inside. How you eat it is you need, if you didn't do it before, you need to take away this part. Do you see this? This is what we call beard. In Italian we call it barba. La barba del carciofo, the beard of the artichoke. So I'm just gonna, it's so soft that it's just gonna cut it through very easily. And this one you set it aside because you don't want to eat this, okay? Be careful, don't eat this. And our artichoke is ready to be eaten, and I'm gonna try a piece for you guys. I'm gonna try the internal part so you don't have to see me spitting. Mom, I miss you. These artichokes remind me of my mom. There's nothing to do about it. Let's try the potatoes. I'm so hungry, by the way. They didn't absorb much of the flavor, I must say. Probably it depends on the type of potato, I guess. When my mom does it, you eat a piece of potato and it's literally like eating a piece of artichoke because it's exactly the same flavor. Let's try the best part now. Weird. The best part in this one is actually the petals and not this part. American artichokes, so weird. As for the external leaves, I'm gonna show you. So we're gonna realize that you can chew it as much as you want. There is one part that is not gonna become, you know, swallowable. This is what I do, and I put it aside on my plate. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. I had fun filming it, except for the part when I realized that I wasn't actually recording. I don't know if anyone is gonna ever see this video, but if I will decide that the audio is decent enough to be published, I will. I hope you're all cooking more because cooking is life, guys. Buon appetito! Bye!